you know, the safety thing was all, that was a big thing, right?
How long are you planning on
keep
doing
away from that, because we were self-insured, and
I don't think it'll take very long, but I'm not sure.
You know, it was like
Let's
$1
make it
million
2 hours.
hit at the end of the year if you had, you know, and
Sorry?
if you don't, it
It
goes
shouldn't
right
be
on
long.
top of your books,
Okay.
basically, right?
You're
So
live
have that
there.
money sitting there.
Alderman.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
You started that?
It's started.
Okay.
You're live.
Jesus, sorry.
No warning or anything.
Oh, we have to call Joel in. I
Oh,
forgot.
Zoe, okay.
Yes. I forgot
Okay, I'm
about
gonna call them, meeting to order, February 12th. Roll call,
Present.
Lisa,
that. Present.
and I, John Lavallee, am present. Joel Kriete is gonna call in, great, okay. But we have a quorum with the 3 that are here, so. Call Joe?
Hello.
Hello, Alderman Kriete. We're calling you into the Infrastructure Committee meeting.
Oh, hello. Thank you.
Okay, public comments? One public commenter.
Just, you mean I get to sit down?
That is up to this committee.
We're recording, yeah.
Yeah, please state your name and your address.
My name is Charles Herbst. I'm with the Boone County Journal. Our address is 544 State Street in Belvedere. Hi to some familiar faces. It's good to see you. I'll try to keep my remarks brief. I know it's 6:30 at night. Everybody says a day job, but I did have a chance. I heard about your bicycle pedestrian study at Milk Days. We were covering it, and I was very interested in it. And I saw on the agenda, which you folks were kind enough to send me, that you wanted to discuss the draft of that document, and I hurried up, took a quick look at it, and I have a couple of comments I wanted to make very briefly. First of all, I do want to commend you folks on engaging in a study like that. That certainly is very progressive on your part. I think the study was well done. I think you got your money's worth. And that's always good to see, right? 2 points I had on it. First, I thought in reading it, and I read this I got this the other day, so I have read this very, very quickly. But I felt that the first thing that should have been addressed was Metra. Very specifically, with Metra carrying bicycles, this extends the range of a bicycle dramatically. There's 2 ways of looking at this. One is thinking in terms of the last mile in Harvard, that if you live a little ways away from the train station, you can take your bike there. You can take it on the train, but it also takes care of the last mile on the other end. For example, you can go and ride on something like the 606 bike trail in Chicago, but you could also use the bike to go to Wrigley Field or something like that. And I think that I saw several maps in which the railroad was marked, but the Metra station wasn't marked. And a couple of other things. There was a mention of Metra in there, but I thought that could be a little bit more emphasized. And I bring this up because in terms of my second point, and that is I was very glad to see the discussion of connecting, and I'm going to call it the wrong name, somebody correct me, the Stone Bridge Trail, or the name of the trail to over to Capron? Stone Mill Trail. Well, it's the Stone Bridge over in Winnebago. So I was very gratified to see them include the idea of connecting the Stone Mill Trail to the Long Prairie Trail in Boone County. obvious, and I was very pleased to see them give it a very high priority, which I agree with, and that is an editorial priority for the journal. One of the things that when I became aware, because they were doing some bridge repairs on that Long Prairie Trail, what you find is there is about a 1.5 mile gap between them. Now, this is obviously an opportunity to have a trail from here to Rockton. Wow. I mean, in terms of it avoids pedestrians or bicycles on Route 173. But I think the positive was emphasized, but I think one thing that needs to be added to it is the negative. And what makes this so important is there's about a 1.5 mile gap. And what is somebody going to use between it? They're going to go on Route 173. And
Well, I will say, I personally have ridden that trail and have actually gone down Hunter Road, and then taken Hunter Road to County Line Road to connect to the trail. It also is a slightly dangerous, but not nearly as dangerous as 173. But I concur with your thoughts about connecting those trails, but that's outside of the city's jurisdiction.
if I may finish though.
Sure.
What I would say though is, no, I do not think that Harvard should be, if you will, paying for it. However, I looked at the McHenry County, I had spoken with the McHenry County Conservation District. It is not apparently on their radar. I looked at the McHenry County plans. It isn't on there. I would add also, you're not a 16-year-old kid doing this. You know what I mean, that would take that route. I know when I was a biker back in the day, hard as it is to believe, I was riding around Manhattan and Brooklyn, and I took worse risks than Route 173. My point being, I think this is something that you can advocate for. And
Well,
I would
I
encourage.
don't disagree, and I think the true body isn't the conservation district, but it's actually the county transportation department.
I'm sorry.
The true entity that needs to be engaged on this is the county's transportation department, because they are the department that kind of manages the Great Illinois Trail that runs through Harvard that would connect up to this. So it really would fall to the county's government, I think, to make this happen.
Absolutely, and I would suggest you encourage them.
I would.
As
Don't
well
disagree.
as,
Don't
and
disagree.
I would also add that your state representative and your congressman are both the same as the
Yes, they
area
are.
in Boone County, which makes it convenient. And let's face it, it would be a major expense for Harvard that you could really ill afford or be inappropriate for you to do. But let's be honest, for the state of Illinois or the federal government, it's a bag of shells. And we might save a kid's life out there. With the Metro being the attractive nuisance that someone coming to, if you will, I think that's something that I would encourage you, instead of just putting the report on the shelf, to take action. Beyond that, I'll let you have your meeting. And I thank you very much for your kind attention, and I'm impressed that you took that trail, because I've been off a bike for too long, but
Yeah, I've ridden from Harvard to past Poplar Grove, yeah.
good for you.
Yeah. Been a few years, but
I tried it. I'm afraid my biking days are over. And hey, it was fun, but the only regret I have is, where were all these trails when we were kids? You know? Anyway, how do I turn this off?
Okay, thank you. Hopefully everyone had a chance to look at the minutes, and can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from January 13th, 2026.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next is the review of the 2026 road program rehabilitation study. Gary.
I wasn't really prepared to give a presentation, but I like to talk. So this was The 2026 road program that we all decided upon, if you recall, we were going to do a north-south and east-west street in each quadrant and then kind of pared it down based on budget. I think everyone remembers that. So what we did was we went ahead and prepared an engineering contract, which was approved. Field survey was started. Obviously, the winter is not very convenient for field survey, but we are trudging through. One of the things that I wanted to bring up to everybody tonight was Lincoln Street. Well, before I do that, so I came up with kind of a matrix of what the plan is to do on each section of each street. And, presented it to staff and kind of wanted to get a concurrence to make sure everyone was on the same page. The last thing I want to do is start designing something just to be told halfway through that, oh no, we didn't want that. Oh no, we did want that. So I want to get a blessing from staff that everyone is in agreement that this is what we're going to be designing. And staff thought it'd be a good idea to send it to the infrastructure committee to review and kind of get your blessing on it. I wasn't going to go over each section in detail. It was in your packet. If anyone has any questions, I can answer it. The one question that staff did have was on Lincoln Street. And these pictures were in your packet. But there are many areas along Lincoln Street that have the sidewalk considerably above the roadway, and when you get to an intersection, the sidewalk connections are either extremely steep, like in that first picture, or have stairs, like in the second picture. And this occurs up and down Lincoln for the entire way.
Which is not ADA compliant.
It is not ADA compliant. So you have two options. You can reconstruct the roadway and leave the sidewalks alone, or since the transportation plan is to do a complete streets, where if you're going to reconstruct a street, you reconstruct the sidewalks, you go from 4 feet to 5 feet, and then you have to make them ADA compliant. So to make something like this, or that, ADA compliant, your choices are a switchback ramp, which is one, aesthetically unattractive, 2, very expensive, 3, you would need handrails, or you can drop the sidewalk to an appropriate grade, kind of like by the church. Is that Grant in 173? Yep. So you drop the sidewalk to the appropriate ADA grade, and then you would have a retaining wall behind it in front of the private property. So if you can picture Grant, and it's Grant or Garfield? Garfield in 173. You would have that situation on all these corners. That is very expensive. So when we prepared the estimate of cost in that transportation plan, that was based on, for a reconstruction street, reconstructing the streets, some minor storm sewer work, and taking the 4-foot sidewalks out and putting 5-foot sidewalks in. Typical cross-section of a street. I did not envision anything like this. So, the first question is, do we reconstruct the road and leave the sidewalks alone? Or, since we're there, tearing up that street, and it's in the transportation plan that we would do a complete streets, do we go ahead and reconstruct the sidewalks knowing that it's going to be more expensive, both engineering and construction?
How much more?
I can't answer that yet because it depends on the grade. If the retaining wall is 4 feet or lower, you can just put a simple inner block in. If it's over 4 feet, it has to be structurally engineered.
Can we get the plans of how much it would be? Do we need to have that decision for city council this month?
More than
How
likely,
many of these are there?
Like 6 or 8.
there's 8, I
And,
believe.
and like when it comes to, there's a couple of carriage walks on here too. We can just eliminate the carriage walks. Because that's like a lot of those carriage walks, like on the,
Is this the only street in town that has this like this?
no, pretty much the
we move
the
it?
northeast side
Yeah.
has a lot of this just because
Yeah.
of the grade over there.
It's the only street in the program that has this.
No, I know this, but I was just, that part of town is like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, we've got hills.
Yeah, all of First Ward is kind of like this. I'm
So-
part of Second Ward.
Public Works has done some work
I'm part of Third Ward, rather.
on like Garfield Street south of 173, where we removed, if we're there doing the sidewalk, we'll remove the carriage walk, especially if they're in poor condition.
Rob, what do you mean by the carriage
So the
walk?
carriage walk, if you look at Lincoln East Side between McKinley and Burbank,
Those
Yeah.
last pictures.
those are a couple of carriage walks. So the carriage walk is essentially what in the old days where you would walk down to your car or to the carriage.
Okay,
But those are kind of uncontrolled and they drop pedestrians off in the middle of the street without anything on the other side to receive them.
gotcha. Well, and that's a weird one because that's just this one
Right.
section of sidewalk that doesn't connect to anything else.
More than likely, if you recall, the administration committee meeting that we're separating out the road program funds into a separate fund. And I finished budgeting for that fund and did a cash flow, remembering that we need to make sure we retain enough bond money for the following year. If you did go with this, if engineering estimates of cost as well as construction are going to be significantly higher, you would probably have to eliminate or revise another street to make this happen. So depending on the turnaround time to get those costs, we're going to budget workshop on the 7th.
Well, it looks like in this picture, there's 3 that we can eliminate, so that goes down to 5.
I'm not worried about those, I'm worried about intersections.
So
like
there's
that,
at least 6 or 8 intersections.
That, stuff like this.
Although the final budget doesn't get approved till the end of April. So if you wanted some time to make this decision, you would have some extra time.
I would say definitely see what the cost is, because like I said, we got the sales tax to do this. People have been kept harping on the roads and sidewalks. Let's do it right if we're gonna do it.
Right. Yeah, if we can find a way to make it work.
How do you think, Lisa, that's your ward,
Yeah.
are people in that ward, would they rather have the, quote unquote retaining wall plan or the, switchbacks, let's say, plan?
Oh, I don't think the switchbacks would be popular.
Switchbacks are more expensive than
Yeah.
the
And
retaining.
they
No, I-
take,
unless
and they
it's-
take up a lot of
I'm
space. Yeah.
I'm just thinking of, myself myself, I don't know if I'd want to retain, a 3 or 4 foot drop to a sidewalk from my lawn, right, from the edge of my lawn. Especially if I got little kids. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's 6 from one, half dozen the other,
Right.
but,
Yeah, I know. I know.
Is one side of the street better than the other, or are they both about the same?
It's,
The east side is worse than the west side,
I mean, from a
but they
grade,
both
from a grade
sides have
standpoint?
it.
Yeah, there's sections of the west side that are pretty flat.
Right, so I mean, if you went with the one side of the street option, the
Yeah.
west side would be easier.
Yeah.
And
When
less
did you plan on
expensive
letting?
than the west side, than the east side. What's that?
When did we plan on letting? April?
No. April.
survey
We ain't gonna let it in
being
April.
behind, pushed it off quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
So,
So that's an option.
I think we might want to
is-
think about that,
Is doing one side.
especially with.
Doing the west
with
side.
the added expense, I mean,
Yeah.
getting one side in there.
Yeah.
Right.
so you talked about having an answer for something?
We have time. We have time. There's time for the committee, for you to do your EOC and bring it back to committee. We have some options.
By when?
April or May. We always have the option. The whole point is that there's only so much money, and based on this plan, you're gonna have to give up something if you're gonna do this. You're gonna have to give up a road. You're gonna have to trade off one of these things that you previously decided on if you're gonna do the sidewalks. There's not gonna be enough
So you just
funding to do
Either
the
eliminate
plan
a
now
block
and
or
then,
two
right.
somewhere in a ward to do this part of the project. Those are
Okay,
kind of
because
things.
our survey's not even done yet.
Right.
So it's expected to be done February. So let's see,
Say like 20th?
March, yeah, February 20th, except for right-of-way,
That's fine.
because that takes a lot more effort to verify the right-of-way. That won't be done until the beginning of March, which obviously, I don't need that right-of-way to determine construction costs, but you'll need to know where it is for easements, if the easements are required. Because either you build that retaining wall on the city right-of-way, which then pushes the sidewalk closer to the street, or, and even then, you're gonna need temporary easements for grading behind the
Right.
retaining wall on the people's property. It's not a federal job, it's not a state job, there's no MFT money, so you have better control of how to talk with
Reimbursed.
and negotiate with the property owners, if there is any, as opposed to a Fed job would just forget it. So you have that advantage, but it's going to take a lot of effort to come up with costs, because I can't even tell you how tall that wall is to tell you how much it's going to cost until the survey is done and plotted up and drafted up, and then we do our design, including cross-section. So there's a lot of work to just determine the cost of these walls.
And the walls really would just be near the intersections. They wouldn't
Yes.
be the whole length.
Correct.
Because then you can
Depending on the grade.
grade,
So if
yeah,
it's a steep grade, that retaining wall could be longer,
yeah,
just to get it so that way.
that
it
it's an
doesn't-
ADA
Yep.
compliant grade, sure.
Okay. Well, we'll just budget what we
Am I not
have,
connected? What's
and
going
the
on?
decision on what we do with it can be made at a later time.
That's easy.
Yeah.
Because
And I-
you budget the amount and then
Right.
you
And we'll,
you determine
Right.
how you're going to spend that.
And then there might be, I'm just wondering if there might be funds in the current year's budget that's not part of the bond work, that there might be some funds to,
Fee funds?
yeah, to use.
We can't.
can't use that?
We can't.
We can't?
annex it.
No.
It's if, as soon as MFT funds touch this, we have to follow the
Right.
process for the entire amount.
yes.
Okay,
So the only funds that could do it would be our funds.
okay. Well, we'll see what the amount is and do the best we can. But I'm happy to just check with a few folks on corners along there, where there would be a retaining wall, since they're my neighbors. They're a block away, and just see, just get a read from them of, is this gonna, are people gonna be freaking out, or are they gonna be happy to have a nice road and sidewalk and that's handicap accessible and 5 feet wide and yeah, so,
Any
That's
comments from Joel?
yeah.
That's what your wall would end up looking
Joel,
like.
do you have any comments?
No, not at this time.
So if you recall, there were steps here.
Yep.
So the
Right.
grade used to follow the top of this wall, and then there were steps down in each direction. And so this is what your corner would look like at all of those.
I don't think it looks bad at all.
No,
Looks
it's very nice.
It's just
That was really
costly.
nice and expensive.
So not a decision to be made quickly.
IDOT did a lot of this too, on the Route 14 improvements going north.
Yeah, they
So
did.
there's a few of these where they came in and, I
Yeah.
think, Blackman, Burbank, or Blackman,
Yeah.
Brown, there's some coming up the street where you can see where some of the back of curb is pretty tall.
Yeah,
Now, Gary, could we move the sidewalk into the parkway more? So that you know, the homeowner owns the land up to the sidewalk, right? So if we move the sidewalk over, then we could conceivably work in that
Well,
space that we
ideally,
moved
the
without.
sidewalk's only a foot wider, so you're gonna need to take it into the right.
No, I know, but I mean, looking at that picture, the distance, what's the minimum distance between the curb and the sidewalk? Is there a minimum distance?
5
5?
feet from the face of curb to the sidewalk.
Okay, so we got plenty of room. Looking at those pictures on,
Are you trying to avoid any land acquisition type or easements?
Correct.
Yeah.
yes,
It's possible. It might be kind of hard to grade, construct, and depending on the height of the wall, it might be rather difficult to build the wall without going onto somebody's property for at least easement.
well, I'm trying to, I guess, avoid, you know, you could have one homeowner say no, and then it blows up the whole thing, doesn't it?
It would change what we could do there,
For that,
if anything.
It would delay the project until negotiations are complete with that homeowner.
but if it's only one, I guess we just leave that one, because
We can skip it, sure.
it's usually a corner lot.
I would think that if you had a nasty staircase at the corner of your lot, that would be something you'd want the city to address.
Well, and then having an example like this of what the final
What it
what it
would
could look like
Right.
Could look
is,
Don't say would, could.
yeah, could, is.
An example
Yes,
of what it
an
might
example
look
of
like.
I
what
was
it
gonna
might
get
look
that.
like.
There you go,
Yes.
be very broad.
But that's encouraging, I think, is, oh, it's not going to be just some ugly, yeah. It could actually be an enhancement for the property.
Well, it would create better curb appeal than those stairs that are there, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Just tell them it brings up the property value.
What if
Yeah.
we just, could we get temporary easement to go further back?
The
to
stairs are kind of cool.
Make more of a
but-
hill?
Mm-hmm.
I mean.
If
then
they
we
were,
wouldn't have to do.
you know,
but they would have to
maintained.
Yeah.
agree to let us
Yeah,
do more.
exactly. Yeah. They, at one point in time, they were cool.
Steep slope or retaining wall?
I could see it either way.
Okay, so my direction is, once our survey is complete and plotted up and drafted up, I am to start some preliminary design on these corners, just to figure out how tall the wall is, and then figure out what the cost is going to be.
Yes.
Perfect.
And
Yes.
that work would be attempted to get completed within the cost of the contract, but that is not in the scope of our contract. So it's extra work that you're asking me to do. I'm just pointing that out.
Yes.
yes.
It
And
won't be
obviously-
the way I look at it, it won't be wasted work because
Eventually get done, right?
eventually it's going
Yeah.
to get done.
If it gets
And
done
then now we'll
now,
have the plans
then
on the
it's
shelf
not.
somewhere that hopefully won't get lost.
Okay.
it's an investment in the future, one way
Yep.
or the other.
Exactly.
Yep, I know. I don't care, I won't be here.
Any other questions?
No.
No, this looks great.
I just wanted to point out one little area on Second Street, Northfield to Roosevelt. I'm replacing the sidewalk on the west side, but I was not going to add one on the east side unless somebody tells me otherwise. There's that
Oh,
large,
along the church?
yeah, there's that
Because
large-
there's
Yeah.
currently not one there.
No, there is not.
No.
Second,
Behind the church.
behind the Methodist church? Yeah.
Between
Okay.
Harrison and,
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think there's any major surprises other than that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you guys have all looked at this thoroughly.
Yeah.
Public Works is going out ahead of this work to televise and inspect storm sewers, sanitary sewers, and anything that might be an issue to try to get ahead of it. Unfortunately, our camera died, so.
So is staff's approval of this plan enough? Or does this committee need to approve anything? Approve this?
I would say, given you're unsure of the engineering cost it's gonna be to do the work, we should probably make a motion in city council.
Okay, John.
Advice on that one?
So it's a motion? John, was that your motion then?
Yes, I make the motion to send the city council for approval of the extra additional engineering funds this might take to get this project kicked off and done.
I'll second it.
Talking about additional engineering review to revise the road program for 2026 to include possibly doing the sidewalks that we just discussed.
Okay. Okay.
Now we're talking
On
about
Lincoln.
both sides on the sidewalks, not just one side, or we're gonna look at it, see if we can get away with just one side. You're gonna
Well, do you
design
wanna-
both.
Do you want to look at both and see if it's
Yeah.
something you want to consider, or do you just only want to look at one side?
My recommendation is design both and then
Right.
Yeah,
pick
look
and
at,
choose.
Yeah,
Then-
we can say, okay, we're not,
We can
That's
say, well,
too mu-
one
that's-
side's more than the other, we'll do this
Yeah.
one or something like that.
I mean, I could do a typical intersection or typical corner and tell you what the difference is between, or tell you what the cost of that is. And then you guys would know, you take that corner times X amount of them.
Yeah.
And that would be your.
Maybe pick the worst case scenario and design that one.
I think I would do something
the
that's,
middle of
yeah,
the
I'll
road?
pick the worst one, because I know that would be over 4 feet, and then pick one that is
Right.
less than 4 feet.
perfect, yes.
And
Okay,
then
yeah.
we would just have to guesstimate at how many
Yeah.
would probably
Of
be
each.
over 4 and less than 4, because the cost difference is gonna be a lot between
Yep.
those two.
Okay.
And go from there.
That's a great idea.
And then what, we're gonna come back and get a decision on that, right?
correct.
Got it.
Okay, we got a somewhat of a motion, and we have a second on that motion.
Second, somewhat.
I will help her word that when she does that.
I sure do appreciate that. Alderman Perkins,
Yes.
Alderman Kriete,
Yes.
Alderwoman Haderlein,
Yes,
Alderman Lavallee, yes. 4-0, motion carries. I encourage this committee, if you have not looked at these streets recently, to, use this and other things at your disposal and get thoroughly, up to speed on this, so we can have a good discussion next time. All right.
May I add something?
Sure.
I think a couple of people have mentioned about the, come on,
Yeah, get rid of that.
the timing.
Hmm.
So our contract had 885 man-hours worth of work to get over the, what, a $3.7 million road program? Take away the 440 hours worth of survey that had to be done, we're left with 1,245 man-hours remaining to get the work done. So I just don't want anyone to think that this is going to be let in April, because there is months of work left to do. And now we're going to be adding a little bit more to get this cost estimate done so we can make a logical and economical decision. So I just want to make sure everyone understands the amount of work that is left to do. And if it's let this year, it's going to be in the middle or end of the summer or even the fall. Then the decision will have to be made again. What do we do with the contract? Do we let them start on some of it and save the rest for the spring, or can you get it all done? There's a lot of variables. I just want to make sure everyone understands this is not a spring letting.
But it could be let and then the construction done all in the spring after the weather breaks, right? Still
Yes,
within the fiscal
absolutely.
year.
yeah, in
So,
2027.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
spring of 2027.
Or they can get one street done and then,
Yep.
so I just wanted to make sure everyone was clear on that.
Well, I think that's beneficial, given the decision that needs to be made, right?
Yeah.
And that was my concern at the beginning. I thought it was letting earlier than you said, so that's, I think that's beneficial
Yeah.
that there is some more time that's needed, so.
Yeah, I mean, we want to get it right.
Did you want to talk about timber?
Oh, yeah, we should talk about that, considering timber was going to be included in that project.
So, while we're talking about this, Gary and I were talking about this as well. So Timber Drive is the street where we were talking about doing the hot in place recycling. Initially, there was a idea that we would include the timber plate or the Timber Drive hot in place recycling letting at the same time that this project is let. So that way, if there's a contractor that can do both, we might have an economy of scale where, if we're going to be doing work over on Iona to repave that as part of our program, they're already going to have equipment over there. They can do the hot in place and do timber on the other side. So we will have to check and see, like basically, if we let all this at the same time, the mobilization cost for one contractor is going to be better. And maybe one contractor does both projects, or, maybe it's still separate, but is that something that this body wants to, knowing this, that there could be additional time involved with the overall rehabilitation and road program, do we let Timber Drive go on its own, or do we just wait everything out and try to do it all at once?
Didn't we already fund the Timber Drive though?
Timber Drive was there was the remnants of the Air Street.
Downtown,
the
yeah.
Yeah, so
downtown stuff.
we already have that fund, it's not part of this bond, so I would say have it go.
Yeah,
Well, up until starting with this upcoming fiscal year, we're going to budget for the road program fund. So what Rob and I did when we did this budget is we included Timber Drive in the upcoming budget, right? So what we're asking is, do you want me to pull it from the upcoming budget and do it this current fiscal year? Or do you want us to continue to include it next fiscal year? Because that's going to matter how the books look, basically.
Gary, would you be ready for that?
It's all the same money, you're right, that we're talking about the same fund, the same money, but where we book
How-
it is
yeah,
gonna,
how-
how it's booked is
yeah.
gonna,
How we annotate it
Right.
on the
No, I
books.
know, I understand what you're saying, but I guess if this is gonna be, say October, we can get this all done. And that's when the construction begins for all, the major road, project. I actually would rather see timber done earlier as well, because it shows, hey, there's stuff going on. We're, not just Air Street last year.
Right.
They see there's another road.
and it's a different,
sense.
I mean, it's a different type of work, isn't it, than any of this other
It
stuff?
is, so the paving is done by a traditional paving contractor.
Yeah.
With the full depth reclamation, where they grind it up and mill it up.
Yeah.
Those are, the full depth reclamation and the hot in place recycling, those are both subs. So that's a specialized company that works
Okay.
beneath the paving company to do
Okay.
that portion of the job.
Okay,
And that job does not need field survey because it's just the roadway, so we would just use aerials, so that could be
okay,
prepared rather quickly and ready for a
Okay.
spring letting.
yeah, I agree with Matt.
Before May 1, I think before May 1 might be tight.
we'll just do it after May 1.
What are we haven't, it's not on the agenda, I don't know if I can talk about it, but, we haven't decided what we're doing with MFT funds yet, have we? No.
We're gonna skip this year.
Oh, we are?
And do a little
Yeah.
bit bigger program
I
next
wasn't-
year.
I wasn't on that program.
Yeah,
Yeah, the original discussion in early versions of the bond was, since we're gonna have so much work going on and we don't wanna intermix funds, that the first year of the bond would be the full bond, we'd hold off on the MFT fund, and, generally it's about 250,000. So 200 to 250,000, so the next year, rather than a $250,000 road program, we would have a $450,000 to $500,000 road program.
But
Now it
then
doesn't
next
seem
year
like
we'll
that's
also
gonna-
have,
That's not gonna happen now, though.
they're both gonna be happening in the same year.
Well, it depends on when it gets, because if it gets let in, somewhere between July and October, if a contractor can take either some fall construction and some spring construction, then during the summer of 2027, we will have an MFT program that size. Because if we let this year, either it gets started this year, or it gets finished in spring of next year, depending on, this is a big project. But then, summer or fall of 2027, we could have that, $400,000 to $500,000 MFT program.
Yeah, so we could more than likely knock out the road program before May 1 of 27, correct?
Which road program?
The one we're talking about right now.
That one?
Yes.
No.
No.
Oh, no, it's going to be happening next summer, 27.
Yeah.
So you're right, we need to do something
We
this
need
year.
to we'll do timber this year,
Yeah.
Yeah,
to do something.
Yeah.
yeah, we need to do
If,
timber.
especially if we're not doing MFT.
So if we do, we can do timber during the summer.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, technically, we're doing something else this year too, correct? That's what you told me Monday? That's going this year?
No, we'll talk about that next, when we do an update.
New business?
Yes,
Okay.
because I was
A
wrong.
surprise.
Okay.
Oh,
I
no,
didn't want to,
What?
Deb.
Teach my wife how to say that?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
hey,
This is being recorded.
hey,
All right, are we done with that item? Okay.
Yes, you done, Gary? Yes.
Let's go to the review of the draft of the bike pedestrian study.
Robert?
All right, so this is what we've been working on. This is a CMAP project with Epstein. This is analyzing the data throughout the city, community engagement events, talking to people, what do you want to see, what do you don't want to see. This is a very comprehensive and thorough project that they did. It takes in a lot of data from a lot of stakeholders. We've had committee meetings, and we've had people from county, we've had people from bike organizations, we've had people, all sorts of people that have been involved in this. So it's a very good opportunity for the city to start making a plan on what we want to do. Now, a few of the things were finalized as far as like what we had, or not finalized, but talked about as upcoming projects. So on their page 44, that lays out some of our upcoming projects. Now, there are projects that are already completed, like the Lions Park project that they actually mention in that third paragraph. So we're just going to clean that up. And then the other thing that they're talking about is the priority list. So the priority list is on their page. I believe it is, starting with the bike priority list, it is on their page 82. I did pass a copy of so we met with Epstein and we talked about what is the appropriate path forward in some of these projects and what really means a lot to the city and what we want to try to get done. So we did make some suggestions to move forward. So they came up with these priorities based upon some of the stuff that they were putting down. Jefferson Street Bike Route, Stone Mill Trail Extension, Ayer Street Bike Facility, Diggin Street Side Path, and the Illinois Route 173 Side Path. We talked about it, and we determined that the more applicable priorities for the city of Harvard would be the Marengo Road project from Airport to Route 173. Diggin Street from Front to Lawrence Road. So these are bike projects. So these are the B projects. Illinois Route 173, Grant Street to Galvin Parkway. Illinois Route 173, Marengo Road to Lawrence. And Lawrence Road 173 to Diggins to try to tie the city into the bike path itself, the existing bike path. And then the Jefferson Street Bike Route, which is basically designing a route down Jefferson Street that's more friendly to bicyclists.
My one concern about the Jefferson Street bike route is parts of Jefferson Street are really crappy. And encouraging people to ride bikes on a potholy street just doesn't make sense to me.
This is a preliminary start to this project. Like the reason that Jefferson Street was chosen was because of the school.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, and I get it, because it goes all the way to Brink, and then goes, yeah, I mean, so I get that, but just from a road standpoint, like I know in just working in and near Woodstock, you know, when they did, a couple of years ago, when they put in bike trails with sharrows for, you know, bike paths along the road, they did it on roads that they had redone, so
Right.
that they're in good condition. So that would be my concern about doing something like encouraging people, like, oh, yeah, here's a bike route.
So it's my opinion that these priorities should be decided upon regardless of what the condition of the road is. You are correct, you're not going to put a bike route or bike lane or anything like that on a road that is that poor of a condition, but you need the plan so that when that does get improved,
Right.
then you know where it goes.
I agree.
And then,
Yeah.
additionally to that is if we're seeking federal or state funding and we can go, we want to redo Jefferson Street and we got a plan that says we're going to put a bike lane on it.
Yeah.
We're going to score a little bit better.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, and where it's, I mean, I was thinking about it, and, because it's just parking on one side, right, that makes a lot of sense to then, on the other side, having a
Yeah.
bike lane.
And a lot of these plans and a lot of these studies and the overall views of what we're doing in all of these transportation plans is, when we go for grant funding right now, we're kind of, we can ask for stuff, but if we have this document
Yeah.
that says, hey, we've got this plan, we're trying to knock this stuff out, we could really use some help with that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of this more attainable, and especially when we're going for, funding that's dedicated to either removing people from the roadway via alternate modes of transportation or pedestrian access, will look really good.
And I have to agree with Mr. Herbst. It's an outstanding plan. I mean, it really is very, very well done. I was blown away, actually.
So this is as far as the bike route goes, this is where we feel like as a city that, staff recommends this reorganization, and this will be shared with Epstein before everything is finalized. But we wanted to get the committee's input on what say ye. Any questions about the bike path stuff? All right.
Joel?
Just one, now, when you mentioned bringing one up to Galvin, are you talking about keeping that path in the street, going down Galvin?
No, this is,
And there.
so this would be, and one of the things is, the overall arching thing in a lot of the discussions that we had was that not only interconnecting Harvard, but interconnecting other municipalities. So, they're really also looking, if we run a bike path alongside 173 to Galvin, that would also open up opportunity in the future for either IDOT to continue the bike path down 173 or for, McHenry County Conservation District or whoever wants to spearhead that to, Harvard's got this right here at the end. And it also ties our park to more parts of the city.
Well, and it could, just thinking of 173, getting an off-road path, that would then set things up to be able to connect to the, is it the Prairie Trail?
Yeah.
And there's the Grand Illinois Trail that right now is going on a bunch of
Yes.
roads from Hebron to Harvard, and so that might
Right.
be the impetus that gets someone to say, okay, let's
Absolutely.
finish that path.
Did that answer your question?
Kind of, yes, I should have redirected it more like, is it the north side of Galvin going up to Lions Park? Or are you talking about the path
I think-
down Galvin and Park Point?
Yeah, it's on 173. It's from Grant to Galvin.
All right,
It's not
yeah,
Galvin.
I was just curious or actually concerned if it went down Galvin, would any of those houses lose their parking in front of their house?
No, this wouldn't go down Galvin into Park Point.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Go up Galvin into Lions.
It would go up Galvin into Lyons, not down Galvin into Park Point.
Okay, yep, I just wanted to clear that up, thanks.
All right, so next is the pedestrian facilities. So there's a few prioritizations is, the sidewalk and infill near schools, the US 14 sidewalk, and the Illinois Route 173 sidewalk. These are all things that we basically have discussed already and we kind of have in progress for these, infilling, getting the sidewalk between Route 14 and 173 is huge. And, we're currently pursuing that. We're also currently pursuing trying to get more sidewalk along Route 173. So that's already sort of something in motion. And then just infill sidewalks near schools as we can do that or deem appropriate. So just more common sense stuff on the sidewalks.
Makes sense, since it's already started,
Mhm.
funding already.
Yeah, I would also say it's not just the middle school and high school, but the junior high.
Mhm.
There's a lack of sidewalks on Garfield.
Right.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, near the school.
It's pretty much filled in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah, for sidewalks, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But this talks specifically about, and it references the northeast part, and that would be the high school and then the middle school, Jefferson. But the junior high could use with some.
They just take that walking path from the high school up. Wouldn't be an issue.
Right now,
what I'm talking about?
It's difficult to put sidewalks along Garfield, especially on that northern section, because it is a rural section. So that's a
Right.
ditch and
Yeah.
culvert, no curb and gutter.
And
We were
it's
trying
steep.
for a grant,
Yeah,
we were
I know.
we were hoping, and I even did work along Garfield to improve the drainage, knowing that meant that we were going to get the grant, and I tried my best. So that's the gist of what we wanted to talk about, besides providing the committee the overall document to look over and give opinions on. This is something that, there's been over a year of stakeholder interaction with and public interaction, and realistically just tying this all together so that we have a document that we can have in our back pocket, so that if somebody asks us a question, that we can tie this to it, or if we're trying to get grant funding, that we say, we have a plan, can you help us out?
I found it interesting that that there are more miles of sidewalk gaps than sidewalks.
The city
Yeah.
in the past should have held property owners to task to build sidewalks when
Yeah.
they built their house.
Yeah, well, and part of the
business owners.
issue is, I think, at least in the older parts of town, people were allowed to take their sidewalks out
Yeah.
when they were in bad condition, rather than replace them.
Yes.
So that's why you have these,
Gaps. in the
weird
sidewalk,
gaps,
right.
yeah.
And Public Works is, we're not going to be able to fill, we're not after entire gaps where, it's a city lot, but
Yeah.
if we're missing 2 or 3 squares from maintenance activity years past, or
Yeah.
there's a couple of nasty squares in the middle of a neighborhood that otherwise isn't
Yeah.
good condition, like right now, we have about 5 or 6 locations that were removed, framed, ready to go, and then it snowed. So we will be addressing those as soon as the weather breaks and the concrete plant's open.
Yeah.
But that's something that, we've set aside funding through the budget process, through the normal operating budget, to start addressing some of those spots in town.
And now, this is a question, little side thing, but are we able to do that kind of work on sidewalks that are along 14, now that they've redone those intersections?
Yes, so like the big thing with the intersections and all the cost that was involved with that was engineering to try to make it meet ADA grade.
Yep.
So they made all of those improvements.
Yeah.
So now what's left is basically the straight stretches between the
Right.
crossings.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because because it's so close to my house, I walk there a lot, and there's just certain spots where
Yeah.
the sidewalks are really bad. And it's weird, because now you've got these great,
Yeah.
and with the striped,
Especially the west side,
lanes and-
especially.
yeah. So,
well, yeah, for me, it's the east side. As you get further north, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
because by the church, it's not bad. on
No,
the
no,
west
the
side.
church is okay, yeah. But anyway, well, I'm glad that we don't have to go through the state to take care of some of that.
Okay, any more discussion on this?
Unless you have any?
We don't have any action item on this?
No, this,
Go ahead.
just preliminarily, if there's any changes that you'd like us to carry forward, this will be, this is sort of the last chance to get any edits put in. So if council, or if committee is okay with the changes that we've made, we will suggest that to Epstein to carry forward, to put in the document. We have some final nitpicky stuff, housekeeping, notes and things like that in the document, but other than that, it's pretty much as is.
Yeah, it looks great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Strategic vision, I don't have anything. Does anybody have anything?
Kind of went over with the bike path thing.
Yeah.
And then also with the
And
road funding.
Yeah, the roads, yeah. I mean, for infrastructure, we sort of nailed it. You know?
Best committee.
Yeah.
All right, new business?
Rob, could you please update us on the status of Marengo Road and Marengo Road Bridge project as far as when it's going into construction?
So, the Marengo Road Bridge, there was the delays with the Marengo Road Bridge. With the contracts and everything right now, it looks like we're gonna be doing a fall letting for the Marengo Road, or like a fall letting for the Marengo Road proper. But the bridge is a little bit behind. If we do a late fall letting, or we do a letting closer to fall, the chances of them doing the project before winter are unlikely. So hopefully that lines up, and the delays with the bridge also carry through, so that way we can have a bridge construction and a road construction in 2027. What that'll mean is that, if this was always the intent, but the bridge, the delays with the bridge are really what was holding everything up. We don't want to put a new road in and then have a bunch of heavy equipment driving on the new road to replace the bridge. So if all things go to plan, summer 2027, Gary? Spring?
The roadway letting is scheduled for September.
Right.
But that's kind of irrelevant until the bridge is ready.
Yes,
So
thank
would
you.
would
Hopefully,
we actually
because
let them at the same time?
it's gonna be tough with next winter.
Doesn't really matter when you let them, but they have to be constructed at the same time.
Okay,
And the goal was always to do the majority of the work while school is in summer session. Because the road
Yeah.
will be closed.
Yeah.
For either project, you have to close the road.
yeah.
We can dictate when we want it done.
Well,
We can say, you can't start until X, and you gotta finish in X.
Yes, that'll
right?
be in
I
the
mean, we
bid
can say
docs.
that,
It will be in the bid docs that way, yeah.
so.
Yes.
So when you let it.
When you let it's irrelevant.
Gotcha.
As long as it's before and they have enough time to
Right.
bid on it, right?
I mean, but you can still have the road let in September, and there
Sure.
are things the contractor can do.
Right.
He just
To
can't
get
close the
ready, yeah.
road and do the majority of the work until summer anyway, so it's kind of relevant.
I was hoping this year, because I don't know if it's gonna make it next winter. That Marengo Road.
What?
Marengo Road, I don't know if it's gonna make it through next winter.
Oh, we got the patch cart. It'll be fine for now.
Road's okay, I don't know about the.
Oh, well,
No, the road is down.
traffic calming.
No, you got it.
There you go.
Yes,
It
traffic
definitely
calm, yes.
slows people down.
I will
Yeah.
say, in a previous community, when we improved the road next to a school, I got complaints from the business owners, because they said, we used to sit out here and it was entertaining to watch all these expensive cars drive past and bottom out, and the kids slow down, but he's like, ever since you guys fixed that, now it's a racetrack.
Well, I bet you the one in Marengo's gonna be like that, the one they just did by the school.
Prospect.
Right, yeah, Prospect. I was gonna say
Oh,
Prairie,
they just
but.
redid Prospect?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Prospect's-
Reconstructed it all.
Prospect's got a lot of, they got a traffic there, they got a railroad track there, there's the center lane, there's truck traffic, they got their own, if you're speeding down Prospect, you might run into trouble.
It's
Now they
it's
got the-
nice and smooth
Yeah, they got the
now. I've
pedestrian
used
walkway
it
there,
full time.
that, you could kill somebody easily.
Mhm.
Okay.
Alderman Kriete, did you have any new business?
No, I didn't. Thank you for asking.
Anyone else?
Anybody else new business? No? Take a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.